Now at 5, Missouri Southern announces a major donation made to its Lions Forward campaign. Plus, the Better Business Bureau warns students about scams surrounding scholarships and why former President Trump could be facing criminal charges soon.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A Southeast Kansas woman pleads no contest in the 2018 shooting death of a Cherryvale man. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Court documents show Julie Fagerstrom lived with the victim, Richard Schultes, when the shooting happened in November of 2018. Prosecutors initially charged her with second-degree murder. The plea deal reduces that charge to voluntary manslaughter. By pleading no contest, Fagerstrom accepts the conviction but does not admit guilt. Sentencing is set for May. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at the weather.
Well, a chilly day for us today and kind of a lot of clouds most of the day. They've actually cleared out just a bit over the past couple hours, but we're going to see these thicken right back up as we go into the weekend. All right, let's go outside. It's 42 in Nevada, 46 in Neosho, it's 49 in Welch, it's 47 in Parsons. Through the evening hours, we slide back through the 40s. Not as cold tonight. We'll dip back to about 40 degrees for an overnight low, but we do have changes moving in. Showers, thunderstorms for us tomorrow. A lot of clouds. It's going to be chilly on Sunday. We're going to get some hard freezes early next week. We have another system late next week, so we're going to break it all down for you coming up here in just a little bit.
See you soon. Missouri Southern's Lions Forward campaign today received a major charitable gift. Dr. Bob and Dot Wilcoxon are donating $1 million. That money is going toward the goal of $31.5 million to, in part, build a new health and science innovation center.
Also, part of the Wilcoxon gift will be for supporting undergraduate research, hands-on projects of those students working with our faculty. And those are just great opportunities for our students to learn, to understand research, and prepare themselves for medical school or professional school.
The new facility is going to include a simulation hospital, an expanded cadaver lab, and other labs specific to different areas of study. This time of year, some students in high schools might be applying for scholarships. The Better Business Bureau reminds students and their parents to be careful when searching for those scholarships. BBB officials say the best place to look and get assistance with scholarships is at the school. It's a big red flag if a school scholarship asks you to pay any kind of application or processing fee.
It appear to be legitimate businesses hosting a seminar on how to get scholarships and grants. And then there's a high pressure sign up push at the end of the workshop or the seminar to sign up, pay us a fee, and we'll help you get all of these different scholarships.
Hernandez recommends looking up any companies that are trying to offer you scholarships on email or text message to avoid identity theft scams. There are strong signals that Donald Trump could soon be charged with a crime. The former president lashed out again last night at prosecutors in New York who are investigating an alleged hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels and whether it was classified as a legal expense during his 2016 presidential campaign. Reporter Ed O'Keefe has details from Washington.
The Manhattan District Attorney may be closing in on Donald Trump, marking what could be the first time a former American president is charged with a crime. As first reported by the New York Times, Trump has been given the option to testify as soon as next week before the grand jury. It's investigating business records involving a $130,000 payment made to adult film star Stormy Daniels just days before the 2016 election. Daniels has claimed she had an affair with Trump, something he denies. The offer to testify likely means criminal charges could be on the way because New York state law requires potential defendants be given that option. Trump is likely to decline the offer. Since January, several people close to the former president have met with Manhattan prosecutors, including his former senior counselor Kellyanne Conway, former communications director Hope Hicks, and his former attorney Michael Cohen, who is at the center of the alleged payments to Daniels. And this may not be the only legal challenge Trump faces. A Georgia grand jury recently recommended several indictments, according to the foreperson, as prosecutors there consider charges in the possible interference in the 2020 election. And of course, the Justice Department has ongoing federal investigations as well. Trump has said all 3 probes are politically motivated, and he denies wrongdoing, telling reporters last week that even if he's indicted, he plans to continue his run for president. Ed O'Keefe, CBS News, Washington.
The cybersecurity breach of DC HealthLink, the congressional member's health insurance service, is much more extensive than previously reported. The compromised data is said to include sensitive information like social security numbers, home addresses, and details on Capitol Hill employees' health insurance plans. House and Senate staff members have been encouraged to freeze their family credit to guard against fraud and identity theft. German police say the gunman who killed at least 7 people at a Jehovah's Witness hall was a former member of the congregation. Authorities say he shot and killed himself after opening fire at the place of worship last night in the German city of Hamburg. Police say they had previously received an anonymous letter warning the shooter might have undiagnosed mental health issues. Still ahead, concerns surrounding positive reports.
A new report from the Labor Department shows employers continue to hire workers. I'm Willie James Inman in Washington. I'll explain why some see the new data as bad news.
And next in Health Watch, 3 years after COVID was declared a pandemic, doctors are seeing a rise in a debilitating condition. Topping today's Health Watch, March 11th marks 3 years since the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 outbreak a pandemic. And there are still many unknowns about the long-term health effects. Doctors in San Diego are investigating what appears to be an increase in a debilitating condition called POTS after COVID, which usually affects women. Danya Bacchus introduces us to one woman coping with that disorder.
Nicole Baca was a nurse on the front lines of the pandemic. She ended up hospitalized with COVID-19 in June 2020. Since then, she's been coping with many symptoms, including heart palpitations and brain fog.
I went from being a healthy woman in her 30s to being pushed into my doctor's appointments in a transport wheelchair.
Baca was eventually diagnosed with POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. The disorder of the autonomic nervous system causes symptoms when a person goes from seated or a lying position to standing.
A lot of people are dismissed as having anxiety or a psychological disorder because people are not aware of POTS. We have known for many years that POTS can occur after various viral illnesses.
Dr. Pam Tao with UC San Diego Health is investigating a surge in post-COVID POTS. Estimates suggest around 1 million people have developed the condition after COVID. Treatment includes a combination of lifestyle strategies and medication.
This protocol involves strength training and non-upright exercises. And then there are medications that can be used to treat POTS and lower the heart rate.
Baca has done months of physical therapy and cardiac rehab. She continues to exercise and take medications.
Even just from in the last year, now I feel like I'm able to do more. I can stand longer. I don't have as many flares of my symptoms or my heart rate spiking.
And she took part in research studies to help people with POTS get their lives back. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, San Diego.
Doctors say there's a critical shortage of experts who care and treat POTS, leaving a lot of patients waiting for specialists to become available. We know what you eat and drink affects heart health, but there's new evidence that the air we breathe is important too. Researchers tracked hospital admissions for cardiovascular disease in 70 Chinese cities and found higher admission rates in places with elevated ozone levels. They're concerned air pollution from climate change could make the problem even worse. Hepatitis B can cause liver damage, cancer, even death, but many people who have the virus don't realize they're infected. So the CDC now says every adult should be tested for Hep B at least once in their lifetime, and high-risk groups should be tested more often, including those who are unvaccinated. Eating green leafy vegetables is associated with fewer signs of Alzheimer's disease in the brain. Researchers compared people who ate 7 or more servings per week to those who ate little or no greens, and they found the veggie eaters had significantly less plaque in their brain, equivalent to being nearly 19 years younger. Memory loss can be an early sign of Alzheimer's disease, and new data shows some minority groups could be at an increased risk. Among adults 45 and older, the CDC found the highest rate of memory loss, 17%, among American Indians or Alaskan Natives. Black and Hispanic people also reported slightly higher rates than white Americans. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen testifies before Congress about President Biden's proposed budget.
Plus, we have rain rolling back in for the weekend. Details coming up. Well, kind of a gloomy Friday. We're getting a little bit of sunshine out there right now, but most of the day we're just kind of socked in with the mid and upper level clouds. Temperatures kind of chilly across the region. Looks a little bit better right now, Indigo Sky, Casino and Resort, but we do have a rain which is going to roll back in as we go into the weekend. All right, let's go outside. It's 45 Iola. It's 50 in Veneta. It's 51 in Bentonville. Carthage is sitting at 45 degrees. Looks pretty good. 7th and Rangeline. A lot of traffic. Currently sitting at 45. Northerly winds at about 10. Humidity is at 60%. As we go through the evening hours, slow drop, eventually down to 40, and those clouds really start to thicken up as we go through the overnight hours. So we had clouds passing through, clearing out just a little bit the past couple hours, and then they're going to thicken right back up as our next storm system is building out to the west. You can see all the clouds out across central and western Kansas. And then here's our storm system producing a ton of rain in parts of California. This system heads toward us as we go through the daytime hours for us tomorrow. All right, let's step through time. Clouds thicken tonight. Showers pop up by morning. Here's 7 a.m. on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side and press east. Even a few scattered thunderstorms, nothing strong or severe. So this is 9:30 in the morning. And then we kind of dry out for a few hours. Just some spotty showers. Here's the noon hour. Temperatures, upper 40s to lower 50s. And then the backside of this system rotates in once we get into the evening hours. And you can see some of these storms could be a little bit stronger. I think they'll stay below severe strength, but we could get some thunderstorms rotate through, and then these are gone by the time we head into about mid-evening tomorrow. Clouds stick around tomorrow night, cooler by Sunday morning, upper 30s. A lot of clouds throughout the day, and then sunshine once we get into late Sunday. So it's going to be a chilly weekend for sure. And look at this, temperatures Monday morning, pretty hard freeze as we drop into the mid-20s for overnight lows. All right, so you can see our rain chances. They shoot up 6, 8 a.m., kind of trail off by noon, and then back up again once we get into the evening hours. Rainfall amounts, depending on where you live, it's not going to be heavy. I think most of us 1/10 of an inch, maybe upwards to 1/4 of an inch. And where we do get a few thunderstorms, we could see amounts just a little bit heavier, mainly along and south of I-44. Look at our temps tomorrow, pretty consistent, upper 40s, lower 50s as we go through the daytime hours. So to break down the weekend, 53 tomorrow, thunderstorms, a lot of clouds Sunday. It's going to be breezy both days, kind of chilly both days. And of course, don't forget about this. We spring forward an hour tomorrow night. So the sun's going to rise at 7:34, which is kind of late. And then once we get into the evening, look at this, sunset at 7:22 on Sunday evening. That will be nice. I know a lot of people don't like waking up in the dark. I'm never up that early, so it really doesn't matter to me. All right, 53 tomorrow, 52 on Sunday, cooler 47 on Monday, 55 Tuesday, back to 64. Wednesday, another storm system, and much colder temperatures late next week.
I'm with you on the daylight saving time thing. I welcome that extra hour of evening.
I do too.
Thanks, Doug. Hey, rain is already drenching Northern California, causing creeks to swell with high winds, littering streets with debris, knocking down trees. But most of California is prepping for another battle, a rapid snow melt, which could create dangerous flood conditions. Authorities have ordered evacuations in Santa Cruz County, which is expecting as much as 8 inches of rain. Coming up, why the latest jobs report is creating concerns about another rise in interest rates. Topping today's Consumer Watch, a new report shows the U.S. job market remains strong, but that positive news could lead to a negative side, higher interest rates. Willie James Inman reports from Washington.
Restaurants and many other industries continue to bring on more workers. The Labor Department says overall the economy added 311,000 jobs in February, nearly 100,000 more than expected. The unemployment rate rose from a 53-year low of 3.4% to 3.6% as more Americans started searching for work.
They're coming off the sidelines. They're getting back into the job market.
On balance, I think this is a good jobs report, but it may be a little too good for the likes of the Federal Reserve.
Bankrate senior economic analyst Mark Hamrick says that's because the Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates to slow down the job market and economy to ease inflation. Earlier this week, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell told Congress the board will continue to raise rates.
Without price stability, the economy does not work for anyone.
The Fed's strategy is having an effect on certain aspects of the economy, including businesses that lend money. Bank stocks are taking a hit on Wall Street, especially those that offer loans to tech companies, an industry in the midst of layoffs.
I was part of the Meta layoffs this morning.
Alejandra Hernandez lost her job at Meta in November. She's documenting her job search on TikTok, and it hasn't been easy.
I do try to submit around 5 to 10 applications a week.
I'm also a professional event planner, giving tips and advice to everybody getting married.
Hernandez started a wedding content side hustle. She's hoping to expand that business even as she seeks out other opportunities. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Washington.
The Federal Reserve makes its next announcement on interest rates on March 22nd. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen appeared before the House Ways and Means Committee today to discuss President Biden's proposed budget for the upcoming fiscal year. She claims Biden administration policies have helped our nation recover following the economic downturn of the pandemic, and she urged lawmakers to increase the debt limit.
Since 1789, the United States has always paid its bills on time, and it must continue to do so. In my assessment and those of economists across the board, a default on our debt would trigger an economic and financial catastrophe.
The Biden budget plan would reduce the deficit in part by levying a 25% income tax minimum on people with $100 million. General Motors is offering buyouts to most salaried workers and some executives. The move comes as the company tries to bring down costs and make the transition to electric vehicles. GM intends to cut costs by $2 billion by the end of next year. Of GM's 58,000 salaried workers in the U.S., the buyout offer will be extended to white-collar workers who've been with the company at least 5 years and executives who've worked at least 2. Pilots for American Airlines are being offered a raise and better retirement benefits. That's the word from the airline's CEO, who says he'll match a recently approved contract Delta gave its pilots. The 4-year deal would eventually give senior captains on planes like the Boeing 777 about $600,000 a year in salary and retirement plan contributions. Yesterday, the Allied Pilots Association said its board voted unanimously to open a strike center and ask members about authorizing a walkout. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, Steve Hartman takes us on the road with the story of an Army widow making good on a long-kept promise. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on how $1 million donation to Missouri Southern will help build a new health sciences building. Plus, Carthage Junior High School is named as the Missouri winner of a national competition. And we're going to have highlights from Missouri Southern's first-round matchup of the Division II National Tournament against Augustana. Stay with us, CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Not exactly a perfect weekend weather-wise, Doug.
No, it's not the best weekend to get outside and do stuff. If you are going to get outside, do it on Sunday, but it is definitely going to be a little bit on the chilly side. All right, 53 showers, even a few thunderstorms for us tomorrow, 52 on Sunday. And then look at these overnight lows, 26 Monday morning, 29 Tuesday morning, cooling right back down next weekend as well.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.